You know what? I ain't got time. Welcome to my YouTube channel. It is Keeping It Real with Marquita. Today I have my son, Lil Carl, with us. You can call him Carl. If you're here for the first time, thank you. I greatly appreciate it. I look forward to you subscribing. Hit the notification button so that you can get all my videos in the future. So if you are back, I greatly appreciate that as well. You saw something that you saw fit to come back and just check your girl out one more time. So today we're going to be eating some wings and talking about the importance of allowing our boys to embrace emotions, allowing them to know it's okay to cry, just all the things that the world has taught, especially black young men, that is not okay to do, which to me is controversy to everything the word say. It don't say nothing about women are only ones that are allowed to be emotional, go to God and cry, and so on and so forth. So today I'm just gonna get my son's perspective on how he feel about it. Is it good? Is it not good? How it affects him? How it helps him? Don't help him? So we're just gonna kick it off. So for me, I have raised my boys to cry. I've raised my boys to understand the importance of prayer. I've raised my boys to understand the importance of being in touch with your emotions. You don't have to be hard all the time. I didn't use the saying with my boys, man up. Now, a lot of times when they would fall, I probably turn the other way because I realize kids can feed on that energy and be like, get all dramatic because it's like, oh, what's wrong? But as far as allowing my son to cry about situations, I've allowed that. So I'm just gonna get his perspective on what he think and how it affects him or the world itself. And
Okay,
trying to
my
eat.
bad. These wings slapping. But I like to say I was raised to not be afraid to show my emotions and what have you. But the world kind of teach you like, why you crying? Don't cry. You a boy. Or like, as you're growing up, everybody be like, you a big boy now. Big boys don't cry. Big boys don't get sad. And then from a certain point, you hit a big boy, and then you're just a big boy forever. And so I'm saying like you can just never cry at that point. But I don't think that's true because I mean, it do relieve a lot of stress and stuff. But I do have the occasional facial waterfall, but I do I try to not let stuff build up to the point where it gets. I feel like crying is one of those reactions just too like overwhelming, just too much overwhelming. So I try not to get to that point where I feel like I need to cry just because there's so much going on. Sometimes you just can't help it. And when I do, I like to be. 'Cause I mean, I feel like not. I mean, nobody even has to know that you cried. Like even if you do, like the stigma of men don't cry and all that stuff is a prevalent thing. It's not saying you have to cry in public. Like there's plenty of alone time and like free time where you could. That's what I feel like at least. I don't really be doing too much, but I do feel like it's important because I feel like it's a deeper in touch with your emotions that you normally don't get to get in touch with. It's not like you talk to anybody because most of the time you can't talk to your dude friends about it. That's a no go. You ain't trying to get roasted. You ain't trying to get flamed. That's tough. And but yeah, you don't want to. You can't tell your guy friends about it. Most of the time, you don't really want to tell the lady friends just because you're supposed to be like the protector and all that stuff. So something that's like crying is seen as a weakness. Most of the time, you don't really like to show that outwardly. But I feel like you should find one person at least that you can like like openly cry with. Find somebody that didn't cry to you before. That's what I feel like makes me comfortable. Somebody that cried to you before. But like, cause I mean, they can't really cast a stone like looking at you like, oh, you why you crying? If they didn't came to you crying before, like God or girl regardless, they didn't already open themselves up to that point of vulnerability. So I feel like you should feel comfortable doing the same. And if you say you never had nobody cry to you before, which I don't know how likely that is, but if it ain't happened, I'm pretty sure somebody who can just share some deep feelings with you or some secret that is pretty much along the same lines as just sitting here crying and venting and listening. But that's my take on it. I just feel like we should be allowed. well, we are allowed. I feel like it shouldn't be as stigmatized as it is, because I don't feel like it necessarily shows a weakness. It's just a natural emotion. Kind of like saying, it's kind of like with the whole COVID. Like, since like, why did coughing become a thing of just like disgustingness? Like, people cough as a natural reaction, but now if you cough, you're definitely infected. I don't know when that started becoming a thing, but yeah, like how you just have COVID. Like, I have asthma. Like, I just cough just because, and it's like, oh, you sick. And I don't know when that became a whole thing, but I guess just how people um perceive stuff over time, as coughing just mean you got COVID and crying just mean you weak. But I think like we should put our own labels on stuff like that, what it means, and that I'm too stressed, or it's saying that I haven't communicated in a while, so now it came to a point where I'm about to cry, like that.
So, do you feel that whole little black men, black boys don't cry, this, that, and the other? Do you think it creates a wall between a father and a son?
Yeah, because a lot of stuff you don't want to tell your mom just because
Your mom.
just your mom. You just can't say no, or you just don't want to. And so you want to go to your dad about it, but it's like it's one of them sad emotional things. I feel like a lot of dads don't really let you know, like, they're even talking about anything, but you don't really get that same vibe when you're talking about other stuff. So you can talk about anything, but you mention something, like you're a little sad, and you be like, oh, it's whatever. It's like that's how the world is. Just kind of move on, and do create like a little barrier of like, okay, this is what I really can talk about. And this is what like they really don't care about, type of thing.
And what role do you feel like moms play in allowing? I mean, because I've heard some women who hit their boys in the chest because they're boys, or they slap them upside the head or so on and so forth. And me personally, I didn't raise my boys like that. I've never, because I wouldn't punch my daughter in the chest and then ask for respect. So I'm not gonna punch my son like he don't have chest pain and be like, well, he a boy. So, but I do know that there are some moms who hit their boys like that, and I'm like, God, Lord, you knocked the wind out of him. But that's just facts. But I ain't walking around here punching Riri and Kay in the chest. So, you know what?
Oh my god!
I'm just trying to understand.
I was like, but straight.
Just wham! Just knock her down. Because it's only fair. If I punch Pop, I gotta punch Kay. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. And then I gotta tell her to man up because I punch Pop. So I don't know what else to say, y'all. But with all that said, a lot of times, especially with moms being single moms, they feel like they have to take on this dominant role of man handling their sons. And in the process, I just want to see what that looks like. I know you can't really identify, but just based on what you have with me, what do you think that look like for a young man with having to deal with that from his mom?
Like, okay, so this is kind of tough. I didn't really like smack up on me like that. But I feel like that would be a very conflicting position, just because I feel like that's kind of naturally from your dad anyway. Like, you kind of just know, like, okay, if I get out of hand, dad gonna like hit me. Like, he gonna treat me like a man, like a big boy. And then it's like, okay, if I really like, if I'm really hurting. Well, for me, if I'm really hurting, that's why I would retreat to my mom. Like, get to a place, I would like retreat to my mom. So I'm like, okay, I know she gonna sit there and like listen, or got like the unbiased opinion about stuff. But I feel like if it was to the point where I feel like I couldn't talk to my dad because I can't get into certain like feelings and sensitive stuff. But then my mom was also kind of had an iron fist, metaphorically and literally. I would, I was like, you'll be very conflicted all the time because like even if you met a woman in your life, you wouldn't be able to open up to her either. You'll feel like, also you would look for somebody who's like your mom, so you probably find somebody who's pretty independent, pretty headstrong, physical, and so I feel like you probably wouldn't even. I feel like you just live your whole life keeping everything to yourself. or finding like, yeah, I thought that'd be the thing. But just thinking about like in my mind, like that could be a reason some people like cheat, like almost emotionally, like with talking to other people, because they feel like 'cause they don't have this attachment. It's not their partner, and they can't like physical or whatever, or really like hold it against them. 'Cause they don't really know this person. They feel like it's the only way they can kind of get out the stuff that they haven't been able to say. It's just like some thought.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I feel like that is so true because, like, with a lot of men, with us as women, we deal with it all the time, trying to get our spouse to open up, trying to get our man to open up. Or he's on the other side where he has a woman who has been raised to be so independent and so tough that he don't feel like she's in a vulnerable place to listen. And he end up talking to somebody else or confiding in somebody else. So just as much as women may have it bad and confused because how they was raised, the men got it on the flip side as well. So for you as a young man, do you really feel like that puts, especially our black men, in a position of going to the streets where they live this stigma of I'm hard, I don't care about nothing, and it leads to all of this acting out, I would say. I would call it acting out.
Oh, but I think okay, so instead of like confiding in other females, whatever, and that wasn't like your issue, I feel like it would come like confiding in your brothers, which would be like the gang members or people you run the streets with. But the solution is gonna be the same solutions as work through this, work through that. You get it from other people who also in the streets. So their advice to you is let's retaliate. Let's go raise hell and all this stuff. But like that's all you have to confide in. Because I know a lot of people really do join gang stuff just for like the brotherhood or the camaraderie of these people really got your back no matter what. Like no matter what, even if you're in the wrong type of thing. So I feel like a lot of them probably confide in the wrong people and get the wrong advice or the wrong what's the word? They give them the wrong approach to fix the situation, and it's just let's go do this. Let's go beat up on this person. Let's go get revenge on them, so on and so forth. Probably go to events saying this girl did you this way, this way. But instead of your mom telling you, "Oh, it's gonna happen," all women ain't for you, so on and so forth. You tell your brother out here who been dogged out too, and he said, "Let's beat up on this on her current man now, make him feel what you feel, something like that." So I feel like a lot of people would turn to like the brothers and stuff, but won't really realize how like detrimental it is. So later on, that's all you know. Get hurt and then retaliate. It's a cycle that just won't end.
Do you think as young men, when you begin to date, if you raised to not cry and this, that, and the other, do it put you in a position of not being able to allow your girl to be vulnerable? Like I don't even know what that looks like to let you come to me and vent and cry, this, that, and the other. Do you think that that play a major role in regards to women talking to their man or their young man or what have you?
I feel like I don't feel like that kind of affected that area of my life. I feel like seeing if you were open and vulnerable kind of would made me kind of expect that. Like I didn't see you walking around like being hard all the time. I'm just like always being hard, and then like maybe like see you or like hear you cry in your room,
Right.
but then you come out just like nothing ever happened. Like you kind of let us know like we really got a lot how you were feeling and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of expected that. But I feel like maybe if a mom was really like cut off about her feelings, just trying to be like a super like protective mom, or like probably be easy to get the concept of my kids like look up to me, kind of like the dad almost. Like a dad can't show weakness and stuff. You're a single mom. I feel like you would definitely take on that role if my kids can see me being weak. I'd be like the mom and the dad.
Mm-hmm.
And so growing up, I feel like a son might see that and be like, okay, my mom, this is what a strong woman is with like no feelings. She just cut straight to the money or whatever their focus might be. I was like, for me, mom was kind of seeing if you were vulnerable and whatnot, but not. I feel like I kind of kept it to me
Mm-hmm.
of like me not being able to cry or whatnot. I don't want to put that on nobody else.
Okay. And so then when you think about, do you, I guess with like with fathers, when they tell you, just about anything in life, but do you feel like because they have told you so much when things, I just say with finances, stuff like that. If you have a father who has been like, men just make stuff happen, this, that, and the other, do what you gotta do. When it becomes to something as stickler as money, how does that affect a young man being able to say, I just need some help financially? You know what I'm saying? How does that affect him overall? Like, I know you, my son
That's
don't want
my
to ask for
father.
no help, y'all.
That's my father.
And he got a mama who is like, son, don't struggle out by yourself. But his dad is the opposite of me. His dad is, I had to get you know how to get it, make it happen. But what does that do for you on the good end and on the bad end?
I play on the bad. Let me get the bad end first. I play on the bad end. You just don't ask. You just don't know how to ask for nothing. Like even in school, I just didn't ask questions. Like I just always had to. I just figured it out. Like asking, like coming home with homework. I don't care if I didn't know how to do the homework. I just wouldn't know how to do it. I'm not gonna ask. I'm not gonna sit here and get yelled at. I'm just gonna get it done. I go to school, figure it out. I get it done somehow. Like with finances, that's only recently because like finances don't really matter into your life until you like 16, 18 ish. Um, like bad side, I really like even though I have people, because I feel like it would really be a bad side if I didn't have the people like in my life who would help me out. But I might kind of make you close off. You don't really share as much just because it pertains to the things you don't really want the help with. That makes sense because finances kind of branch off into a lot of stuff, and so you can't really mention this or this because it'll get back to that or that
Right.
with your money being later on down the road. You just don't want to speak on it or this. But on the good, on the positive note, I feel like it gives you a pretty good work ethic, and I feel like you really just have that mindset of like if it really comes down to it, I'm gonna go get it. Like it's kind of like your secret, like your plan, your last resort. You kind of like knowing that your last resort is dependable because it's yourself. It's like if it really came down to it, really came down to it, I'm just have to go get it. You kind of just trust yourself to go get it. Eventually, like if you've done it, I feel like it can give you a work ethic, like a drive, a determination almost. But you should definitely be able to ask for help. Like and like the whole thing in itself is a negative, but there's good sides to it. Like the you mean like you're not dependent on people. You become pretty independent.
So for you as a young man who was raised to cry and be emotional and allow yourself to be vulnerable, what would you say to your generation who really don't have that? And I just see it. My kids, I have raised them to believe in God, to believe in prayer, and I know so many have gotten away from that. So everybody is carrying everything on their own shoulders, from the parents, the grandparents, down to the children. So, what would you tell your generation about that? Just if that is their situation, outside of just like a friend, like what would be a process and an encouraging word for them to just carry forth and think about?
I think my advice, my nurturing words of wisdom, stop talking to people. Stop talking to like-minded people. I don't know what it is about everybody wanting to be in a posse that like that all do the same thing as each other and all like the same stuff and want to be the same thing. It just don't work. Like it just don't. It create a bunch of people don't really realize they think if we all go for the same thing, we all gonna help each other get there. No, everybody want to be there first or be like the best one. That competition is just natural in people, and so it create a lot of hate, jealousy, and stuff with being there first, being the one, being the best one, and just a lot of stuff along like down the road. They like minded. How can you ask them for advice? They're gonna tell you the same thing you've been thinking anyway. They're gonna give you the same advice you've been thinking. All it is gonna confirm what you was thinking anyway. Like, it ain't gonna give you no I think of the word.
No convictions, no clarity.
No clarity. Is that gonna give you a different perspective It's gonna give you your same perspective and maybe some different words. So I feel like in the end, that ain't gonna never be good for nobody at all because you're not building on each other. And I mean, you probably eventually it becomes just taken away from each other because y'all become stagnant, trying to do the same thing and just bounce off each other. When in reality, you need people, different people, to build you up and like teach you different stuff you never knew. And yeah, I feel like also you should really have like a vent buddy, I guess, a vent person or something that you already like know and trust. Even if it's like a parent or like an aunt or like the one like cool aunt, uncle or something that you feel like won't judge whatever you be saying. You would just kind of just let loose. I like you just have at least one person in your life that you can kind of just tell everything, like everything. Because I feel like just holding stuff in is not good. Like it's a natural habit just because you don't want to put like burdens on other people, but some people kind of want. Some people like if you want to look at it as a burden. Some people kind of want to take that burden and help you with it. They didn't have that before, and they don't want somebody else going through that. Like just look at it that way. Like if you've been in a car accident and you know how much pain you can go through, you would obviously teach your children the best way to drive, or really make sure they focus on good driving because you want them to go through that type of thing. Like I would really say somebody you can vent to, like reliable. That's somebody who kind of throw their problems on you, and then you kind of help them, and then come to them every now and then. Y'all can just talk when you really need to vent. They don't judge you. They give you a different opinion that you know is probably a better opinion because they kind of think stuff through slower, more thought out. That's why I say an adult. 'Cause a lot of teens ain't gonna really help each other too much with situations. But I really think having an older person in your life will help a lot too. Like somebody a few years older who they probably seen what you already saw. Excuse me. That is important. Like experience, just going through it and be like, I did this and this happened. Like even if they can't give you advice on what to do, just saying I did this and this is what happened. If you want a different outcome, do something else. If you want that outcome, do that. They kind of give you a starting, a point, a reference point. And yeah, I feel like a lot of stuff kind of just. I feel like we have that person, that bent person. It's social media, like in the whole, like kind of want to go vent to social media, which is everybody, which is everybody knowing and everybody opinions and everybody two cents. But I think if you had just that one person, nobody have to know. You kind of worked a lot of stuff, and people really just see you living your best life. I mean, that's all you really got. That's all you really got to show people. People don't really need to see your highs and your lows. I don't think, because I mean, they don't really care to help you through your lows. Why let them see it? So that's just my opinion.
And that's you talked about something that me and my friend Christina talked about yesterday. And she asked me, she noticed that I got older friends and younger friends, but I got quite a few older friends. And that's exactly what I told her. I said, you'll be surprised at the amount of wisdom that comes from the older people who done lived longer, who done been through some things. And the Bible tells you the elders to help the youngers. That's the word of God. The elders have been called to teach wives how to be wives, help the men to teach men how to be husbands, how to be men of God, and so on and so forth. And I say all the time, your connection could be life or death. Mm-hmm. Connected to the right person, connected to the wrong person can be the difference between you living and you dying. And I think when we think about living, you think about or dying, you think about physically dying. But some people is walking around just mentally and emotionally dead. And you've been here for 25 years, but you ain't prospered, you ain't seen nothing, you don't have nothing to show for it. And so you haven't been living your best life, you just been existing. And so I'm with my son. Too many other folks who think exactly like you is only gonna confirm and condone what you thinking. Like, yeah, man, you should go over there and clown and turn up because you don't have that other mature friend to say, man, you got to think about the pros and the cons of the situation. And that's how come a lot of people, when you tell them one thing and it's right, they get an attitude and then they go get confirmation from somebody else thinking exactly like them. And they go with that because most of us want to hear what we want to hear. So that was something that we talked about on yesterday. But how do you feel like, how does praying help you?
I feel like praying, God can also be that vent person. That's the best vent person. Only thing I feel like with some people, you would kind of want that instant confirmation or that instant feedback. And obviously, I don't say obviously, so you might get that, but it's like a 50-50. If you want to kind of get that instant like confirmation or that feedback as to what you need to do right now. Some people feel like this situation need to be handled, and that wouldn't be the way to go for it. I feel like just like the posture of getting down and getting ready to like pray and kind of really open yourself up to somebody too, for like a higher being is like almost therapeutic. Like I feel like it just calms you down naturally. Like just like the form of submission of praying. I feel like it kind of just naturally kind of grounds you and kind of center your thoughts. Because I mean, there's nothing else to do in that time. I was think right there. But I feel like it do help with like clarity, clear thinking, and a lot of just like stress relief. Just because I feel like just for me the form of like just submission of just I don't really stop that much throughout the day to just kind of just stop. Like not many people stop and get on their knees throughout the day and just like kind of give your undivided attention to something else. Especially with like your eyes closed, like give it something undivided attention with your eyes closed, like and really like make you focus and think. I feel like that should be like, even if you feel like praying wasn't really that thing for you, I feel like if you like mix praying with almost kind of like some meditation, I feel like if you wanted your own like feedback, that would be nice because you'll talk, get a lot of stuff off your chest, get a clear head, and then able to go into it and listen to yourself think with a clear mind, not everything kind of just rambling. I feel like it's real good for patience and clarity. I be having a lot of thoughts running through my brain, like other people talking.
You're overthinker.
Uh,
Bad overthinker. And I think too, we've been hearing the saying for so many years: when you've done all you can do to stand, kneel. And that goes back to what my son is saying. When you're on your knees, you're in a different posture and you're in a different position because you're literally shutting down everything and coming to this place to actually say, I just need to shut out everything because it ain't working. I got a lot on my mind. And so if I'm here in this position with my eyes closed, it ain't too much I can do but stay right here. And of course, it helps me greatly. And crying, it helps me greatly too. But I want to know, like, do you have any questions for me as a mom or just me as a female in regards to just anything related to what we talked about?
mm,
I didn't give him time. We just
I was gonna
doing
say
this
anything of that's
because if I would have
so
told him this topic beforehand, y'all, he would have thought,
man,
figured
I
it
would have come in here
out.
with like a little
He
notebook,
would have had everything. And I didn't want it to be like that because I know
highlighted
my
notes.
child. And he was like, well, maybe I should. Maybe I shouldn't say that. And I just wanted him to say what he felt like he needed to say. So this was not rehearsed at all. So I just, if you wanted to ask anything just in regards to me as a mom or even just like I said, for females in general.
Oh, okay. Definitely want to ask. This is more so from my childhood. Growing up, we had like a a, a stipulation placed of we couldn't date until a certain age, which is pretty common. But how would you how would you suggest approaching that topic to a parent, like for a kid? Say they were told they can't date until they so and so age.
Right.
If you just so happen to start liking somebody, I feel like you really can't help it. Like
Right.
obviously, like you can help it, but you can't help it.
Right.
What advice would you give to like a kid who start liking somebody but know that they're not supposed to? Like, because it become a thing of where like, oh man, I want to tell my mom about this really nice young lady,
Right.
but I can't, or else I'm gonna get in trouble.
Right.
How would you recommend approaching that type of
For the
situation?
kid?
Yeah.
For the
Or me,
kid.
even the parent, like kind of making sure, like, I don't know if you want to tell them, like, if it does happen, you can come to me, because kind of give them a
Right.
pay way to want to do it.
I think for a kid, any emotion need to be understood is an emotion. Anything you feel need to be understood that you're human. And that goes back to me saying allowing boys to cry because it is an emotion, it is a feeling. But I think as parents, when you decide whether you want to let your daughter or son actually talk to somebody, you have to see where their focus is.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like if you're 14 and you like, man, I just really like this little girl. And I want to get to know, excuse me, and this, that, and the other. But if I feel like you already all over the place, to add something more to take away from you, because we're we're naturally, when we like something, we tend to cling. And when you 13, 14, 15 and ain't learn what it is to navigate your life, if something is woo and now it got all your attention.
Mm-hmm.
So as a parent, you got to say, who is this child that is saying they like somebody? Because if this is a scatterbrained child and you let him start talking to some cute little girl and this, that, and the other, it's going to become a distraction. But if you have a pretty focused child that you say, you know what, I think you're pretty focused and we're going to try this thing, but it's going to have to be treated like a friendship. Because I think everything, us as adults, but even for me, a lot of us wasn't taught what it is to really nurture a friendship between a man and a woman. You just go out here like somebody, not his babe. And I'm like, I've never been big on calling people babe or allowing them to call me babe just because we kicking it. But now that's what it is. You babe. Everybody's babe. Your children, your man, your cow, your dog, everybody's babe. And so I'm just, everybody. So I think for the kids, you need to be able to go to your parents and say, I do like this person. And but I feel like with kids, you need to begin to learn who you are. Mm-hmm. And I know y'all think that everything is about just parents telling you, but I think it's 13, 14. You kind of got to sit back, kind of like Dion, and be like, think about why I told you no. You see what I'm saying? And so I think with kids, you kind of be like, if I go to my parent, what is it my parent going to say about me that may not allow this to happen? You see what I'm saying? Because so if you be like, you know what, I don't never keep my room clean. You know what I'm saying? I don't never do stuff with mom not having to tell me. So if she allowed me to talk to this little girl, she gonna feel it's a distraction. Mm-hmm. So I think too, kids should be able to come to the table with a plan. I do feel like now that right was taken away from me as a child, and that's something I've tried to give my children. But I think kids should be able to say, Mama, I know I don't always clean my room. I know I don't always do like I'm supposed to, but I really like this little girl. And because I like this little girl, if I'm willing to do better, would you allow me to at least talk to her? You see what I'm saying? And I think it would help, but I think sometimes parents so busy trying to help their children grow that kids take that responsibility away from themselves. To really look at yourself and say, what I need to do better in. So for a kid, that's going to be my main thing. Just first evaluate who you are as a person. Because sometimes when you evaluate who you are as a person, you tell yourself, you know what? I don't even need no girlfriend. I don't even need no boyfriend. I got a lot going on. So that would be my thing. But for parents, allow your kids to express themselves. My generation and above, I know we've been told, do what I say, this, that, and the other, and we don't dialogue. But it's unhealthy. It's very unhealthy to not allow yourself to have an open conversation with your children. So
you're a lot better at like giving your opinion and then still answering the question at the end.
I tried to kind of make it all make sense. So yeah. So anything else or?
No, I got something else. What's your opinion? What would you say to the parents out there about discipline? Like whooping their kids.
Child, let me tell y'all something. Don't take DHR or whoever it is, because I only got one that's underage that they may have to come pick up if they tell me I can't whoop them. I'm torn. Matter of fact, me and my son, he 14, that's not in here, but he just have random questions. And today he said, Mama, parenting, I think it's probably hard. And he 14, I don't know why he's thinking about it. Maybe it's a conversation we just needed to have. But I think discipline, you got to know your children. That's what it goes back to. Because with Pop, you can tell him something. And he was so smart and internalized things so much that you didn't really have to whoop him. But I got a 14-year-old that I may have to just be like, you know what? I'm going to tear you up.
For one time.
Right. Then I got a 23-year-old who, when she went without a whipping for a while, you would be like,
I've been a week.
She need a whipping. But you couldn't take stuff from her. She didn't care about things. You couldn't go in there and take her game, take her doll. She didn't care. And so I think, and then with my baby girl, Kay, she's so scared of whipping, she crying before you even get your belt off. So you just like, hey, you gonna make me hurt myself trying to chastise you. So you have to learn your children.
Terrible for herself.
She will. She hated whippings. Like you pull a belt off and the world was coming to an end. And you like, why are you screaming already? So it was just a lot. But the Bible do say spare the rod, spoil the child. And I don't believe that always means physical. And I know the world is contradicting and saying, well, if you whoop your child, but you're telling your child not to fight, then you confusing them. But I believe in whoopings. I do. I believe that there's a right one and there's a wrong way. There's a thin line between abuse and non-abuse. And so I don't believe that whooping is always the answer. I don't. My 14-year-old son, if you would stroke his ego, and this is gonna do his wife great justice. If she get this will be one thing I would tell his wife. If you stroke his ego, he'll build you a mountain. Because it's who he is. It's who he is. And so encouraging meant more than discipline. Because it made him feel you got a different reaction. Well, some kids you may get discipline and you may get the same reaction. But if I told Kamari, man, you clean this room so much better than Pop.
His are asking you to clean the room.
Man.
Like it's a
what?
now.
And then he coming out, Mom, come and see what I did.
I cleaned it.
I cleaned it in the mom. So me and my husband, that's been one of our conversations we'll have to have with him being a stepfather. Learning who they are so you know how to talk to them and know how to approach them. Because everything ain't gonna work universal across the board. And so as a parent, discipline is necessary. God set us up that way. We need it. Anybody who say you don't is a lie. That's how come sometimes you can have a friend who can get a better reaction out of your child than you. Because they'll be like, well, he listens to you. Because there's an authority that shows up. Yeah. But there's also a respect that shows up. And parents got to dismiss that kids don't deserve respect. Because where there's no respect given, there's no respect given back.
I'm feeling that.
So I believe that discipline has to go hand in hand with love and respect and individual. So that's what I believe to be true.
That's all my questions. Dave.
Well, that's all the Pop questions. Well, y'all been hearing me call him Pop. His name is Lil Carl.
Wait, it's my real name. It's not a nickname. It's LIL apostrophe. It's not a nickname.
And that was due to his daddy with all of the stuff about, mixing up identities, but he wanted to name his son after him some type of way. So that's how that happened. But Pop is his nickname. We try not to call him Pop around his friends because he be picking, but it's still. So that is our video for today. I hope y'all appreciate it. I hope you definitely share with the young men who can relate to my son, who can better understand, who even can begin to process that it's okay to process these emotions. And is there anything else you'd like to say, sir?
I can say I'm 19. When you say oldest son, I kind of think of grown, but I'm new to adulting. I'm 19, and adulting is hard. And I don't live at home anymore. I feel like that might be a little important to the overall.
Yes, because he's learning to really adult.
Really adult. I went to the DMV yesterday and was like lost. There's only 2 ways to go.
Yeah, there. Which way? And he did. He moved out on his own. I was very resistant because you got your whole life to live. You got your whole life to be responsible for a whole lot of things. And then I didn't really want him to go from living home to taking care of himself, and then at some point having a wife and children, and all he know is to have to take care of something. But he decided to do it on his own. All my kids have took their own responsibility of getting jobs. I've never had to make them do it. It's just they want their money. They go fly. They work. So he moved out on his own. I'm very proud of him. He's doing a great job, but he really know what it is to adult. The first time I heard him complain about a light bill, I could have shouted, "Won't he do it?" I was just like, now he know why. We say don't fall asleep with that TV on. I'm going to go over there and just sit there with the light on just because. But yeah, he no longer lives at home, so I do appreciate him taking his time to come over here and chill with his mama for a little while. And I thank y'all greatly for coming to our channel. And you have a YouTube channel you working on?
Yes, I have a YouTube channel working on. Oh, this is the shameless plug moment. The YouTube that's in the works. That's gonna be with my beautiful girlfriend later on. But I do have a gaming channel on Twitch. If you do know what Twitch is, it's for live streaming and for video games. Where you watch people that go live, they play. You kind of interact. You can type. They can respond and all that. But I'm not affiliated, so you can't like donate none of that crazy stuff. Have it on the screen. but I'm kind of getting that started. My name is Frenzy 3FN. It'll probably be like lower in the description or something, a tag. But yeah, I'm trying to get that game and trying to start it. I'm kind of nasty. I'm kind of dirty. Tell your son about me. He gonna shake in his boots. He's scared. My name is Feared throughout the lobby. Just
And I guess nasty and dirty for us older folks mean good.
oh yeah, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
I'm very good. I'm good and very clean.
So that's what that means. Like when you hear that term fat, it ain't like fat. It's just like
Fat with a PH.
Yes. So that's that for us who may not know that, because when he first said, I'm like, he nasty. But then I connected the dots. So for all of us that went over our head, I brought y'all like that. Y'all can thank me for that. But I appreciate y'all greatly, greatly for coming to my channel. I'm looking forward to doing more of these on different topics. Maybe next time it'll be a topic that my son want to talk about or what have you. But don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and of course comment, because we do want to conversate with you and get your perspective as well. Y'all have a blessed day. Look forward to seeing you on the next go round.